So, another revelation comes from the Epstein files. Yes, yes, yes. It's almost like everything I've been saying over the years, the Epstein files seem to confirm. From the Joe Biden being replaced to Jeffrey Epstein not being dead. Now, the whole Coof hoax has been exposed by the Epstein files. How about that? So this is an email it was contained in the Epstein files from a redacted individual to Jeffrey Epstein. And it says, of course, from March 19th, 2015. So I want you to really take note of that year there. It says, please find attached a draft agenda for the meeting on preparing for pandemics as requested. Let's discuss next steps. For example, how to officially involve the World Health Organization and ICRC. Best regards, and hope we can pull this off. And of course, the ICRC is the Red Cross people, right? And this was back in 2015. But wait a minute. The pandemic didn't happen until 2020. So that means this was 5 years in the making. And if it was 5 years in the making, how are we to continue to believe that COVID was actually a thing? Because I've done several streams throughout 2020, 21, and 2022, basically confirming and outlining and showing the receipts that the entire COVID disease was completely fake and made up. There was even an article that seemed to suggest that, well, not seemed to suggest, but it confirmed, let me be more definite. It confirmed that flu cases had dropped by 98% during 2020 when everybody was running around like chickens with their heads cut off over COVID. That's because they took the flu, rebranded it, and called it COVID. And of course, people were complaining about symptoms that aren't necessarily associated with what we know to be the common influenza. But it turns out that there's two different types of flu viruses. There's influenza A and influenza B. One is more common than the other, and it just so happened that that year, the more uncommon flu was going around, thus the uncommon symptoms that people were feeling. But the fact that they were discussing pulling this off in terms of preparing for pandemics in 2015 tells you all you need to know about how legitimate this COVID pandemic was. And even to this day in 2026, after all the facts, all the information, all the proofs have been out there of them lying and staging this whole thing, we still see people talking about COVID. There's still corporate entities and public entities alike with COVID policies, and people are still running around. Some people are still running around wearing masks. This is absolutely mind-blowing, but I do appreciate the fact that at least we have another bit of confirmation that the COVID thing was a complete hoax, just like I've been saying. So even all your favorite YouTubers out there that pretend that COVID is that believe that COVID is real and talk as if COVID is a real disease, it never was a real disease, and they never were cooking up COVID in a biolab. What they were cooking up in those biolabs was the bioweapon they called the vaccine. That's what they were cooking up. That's how they were able to produce 30 billion doses in 12 months. That's because they've been cooking them up for years prior, but they were doing it in secret. So they couldn't expose their lab findings because they were testing it on live human beings, mainly kidnapped children. Wouldn't you know? So I just had to drop this video and let you guys know that, again, Citizen Man was 100% spot on. The entire COVID thing was an absolute complete hoax. And the mere fact that they made us believe it was a pandemic when nobody was dropping dead in the streets. Everybody that died from COVID died within the confines of a tightly controlled medical facility, whether it be an inpatient clinic, outpatient clinic, hospital, whatever, the old folks home, whatever it was. It was a controlled medical environment where outside people were not allowed in. Thus, the people working within those facilities had carte blanche to do whatever they want. And what they were ordered and instructed to do was to commit mass murder. And that's exactly what they did, all in an effort to make us believe that this COVID disease was a real thing, when in fact it was one big hoax plotted and planned out for at least 5 years prior to the actual rollout of it in 2020. Okay? So when I was telling you guys that the hoax, COVID is a hoax and COVID ain't real, well, somebody emailed Jeffrey Epstein in 2015 and confirmed it. So how you like that? How you like that? And again, how many channels did I lose over exposing this? How many times did I get flagged? How many suspensions have I had? How many videos have they taken down? You know, this is my 16th YouTube channel, and it's mainly because of this shit. Because I was exposing this and I was right all along. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Peace.